stories. I'm Gammie, and I'm so happy that you could join me tonight for story time. I hope you've been having a wonderful week so far. I hope you've been able to get outside and maybe swim in the pool, or maybe go down by the creek beds and splash around in the creek, in the water. Just having a good time outside, playing and having a good time. But whatever you're doing, Gammie is so happy that you was able to join me tonight for story time. So without further ado, let's get right into our story. The reading permission has been given by Cottage Door Press for our story tonight. And the name of our story tonight is Puss in Boots. There once was an old miller who had 3 sons whom he loved dearly. When the miller died, he left the mill to his oldest son. The middle son was given the donkeys, and the youngest son, a kind man who had always put his father and his brothers before himself, was left nothing but his father's cat. "What will become of me?" said the miller's young son, with a sigh, looking at his cat. "Buy me a fine pair of boots, and I will help you make your fortune, for your father thought you deserved it," replied the cat. "A talking cat?" The miller's son could not believe his ears, but nevertheless, he bought the cat a fine pair of boots, and the two of them, well, they set off to seek their fortune. After a while, they came to a grand palace. Wouldn't it be wonderful to live so grandly? Sighed the miller's son. Later, while the miller's son was sleeping, the cat, well, he went a-hunting, and he caught a rabbit. He put it in a sack, and he took it to the palace. "A gift to the king from my esteemed master, the Marquis of Carabas," said the cat, presenting the rabbit. The cat went back to the miller's son and told him what he had done. "Now the king will want to know who the Marquis of Carabas is," laughed the cat. A clever cat. The miller's son could not believe his ears. Every day for a week, the cat delivered a gift to the king, each time saying it was from the Marquis of Carabas. After a while, the king became very curious. He wanted to know who this Marquis of Carabas was, and decided he'd like his daughter maybe to meet this mysterious nobleman, whoever he might be. There goes Puss in Boots. He's got a plan. He's figuring something out for that little fella. When the cat heard that the king and his daughter were on their way, he wasted no time. "You must take off all your clothes and stand in the river," the cat told his master. The puzzled miller's son, well, he did as he was told, and the cat hid his master's tattered old clothes behind a rock. When the cat heard the king's carriage approaching, he jumped onto the road and begged for help. "Your gracious majesty," said the cat, "my master was robbed of all of his clothes while he was bathing in the river." The king gave the miller's son a suit of fine clothes to wear. "Please join us in the carriage," said the king. So the cat, well, he opened the door and the miller's son climbed in. He looked very handsome in his new suit. The king's daughter, why, she fell in love with him at once. The cat ran on, cutting through the surrounding countryside. Every time he met people working in the fields, why, he told them, "If the king stops to ask who owns this land, you must tell him it belongs to the Marquis of Carabas." Beyond the fields, the cat reached a grand castle. He spoke to the people working in a field next to it and discovered that it belonged to a fierce, mean ogre. The cat stood bravely in his boots and he knocked on the castle door. There he is. He's a-knocking on the ogre's door. What do you think's going to happen, boys and girls? "Who dares to disturb me?" roared a voice from inside the castle walls. "I've heard that you're a very clever ogre," called the cat. "I've come to see, well, what tricks that you might have." The ogre opened the door and immediately changed himself into a great snarling lion. The cat, well, he felt a little scared, but he didn't show it. "That's quite a clever trick," said the cat. "But a lion is a very large creature. I think it would be a much better trick to change into something very small. Maybe like a mouse." The ogre liked to show off his magic tricks. He changed at once into a little mouse. But as soon as he did, the cat pounced on the mouse and ate him all up. Then the cat went into the castle and told all of the servants that their new master was the Marquis of Carabas. They were glad to be rid of that fierce, mean old ogre, so they did not complain, not one little bit. "The king is on his way to visit, and you must prepare a grand feast to welcome him," said the cat. When the king's carriage arrived at the castle, the cat was waiting to welcome him. "Your gracious majesty," he purred, "welcome to the home of my master, the Marquis of Carabas." A cunning cat, the miller's son could not believe his eyes. "You must ask for the prince's hand in marriage," the cunning cat whispered to his master. The miller's son did as he was told. The king, who was impressed by everything he saw, agreed. Soon, the Marquis of Carabas and his wife, well, they were married, and they lived a very happy life together. The cat was made lord of the court and was given the most splendid clothes, which he wore proudly along with those fine boots that the miller's son had bought him. The end. Well, Gammie hopes that you enjoyed our story tonight, Puss in Boots. That was a good little story. That little cat, he had some tricks up his sleeve, didn't he? He didn't let anything get in his way. He kept on coming up with ideas after ideas. Well, boys and girls, if you enjoyed our story tonight, I would appreciate it so much if you give me a big thumbs up and like, share, and subscribe to Gammie's Bedtime Stories. I appreciate every single time that you come back and spend your time with me listening to stories that Gammie gets to read to you. I love it. I just enjoy reading stories to you so very much. And until story time again, boys and girls, God bless you all and sweet dreams. Bye-bye.